Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what if I was in My Hero Academia. So, in the last video, we moved on to a different, group. Specifically, the group of Todoroki, Endeavor Midnight, Ibara, Kaminari, and Tsuyu. So, when they started going to Scandinavia to fight, Steel and her army of Draugars in Scandinavia, they meet it there as some things happened. We met the Dragar guard, which confusing name. My God, why did I decide to say it? Either way, they also met some sympathizers to some quirk users. They're basically sympathizers to quirk users, and most of them are not even quirk users. They're actually more like monsters. And it was surprising for them, as apparently they told them about the weakness of Steel, or um, or her real name, Frisk Dreamer. Her real, weakness is actually her, bullying. Apparently, she was bullied back when she was alive, and in fact, basically killed, got killed by some quirk users after a bit of a complication. And so, when they got there, they started fighting, her and also her Dragar army, but in the process, Tsuyu was killed. She sacrificed herself to save Endeavor. Everybody saw this as Endeavor was enraged, seeing this child that basically sacrificed herself for him, as he decided to repay the favor by defeating those bastards. So, during the fight, let's just say, well, Frisk became pretty much enraged and basically turned into her, which I'm now coining as her shadow form, where she basically, her persona, Enyo, basically transforms into a more corrupted version of itself, named Bastet, where she starts going on a rampage, destroying both her allies and enemies. So, after a while of fighting, she basically got knocked out after a while of fighting. And so, that was the end of that little battle. They also meet Naofumi, aka, the hero of heroes, but he was not really important all that much. But he did, actually made friends with, made a little bit of a rivalry with, Endeavor, saying that next time when they, meet up, they would be friends and no longer enemies. And so, they left. And they buried the body of Tsuyu in Scandinavia. And so, that was basically the end of that episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, we moved to another group consisting of Pony, Tetsutetsu, Aoyama, Tokoyami, Burnin, and finally Toga. So, Burnin starts telling everybody, including Toga, to get ready because this is going to be pretty interesting because they're going to Ireland, aka the land of potatoes. I mean, they're not wrong. Technically, Idaho is the land of potatoes, but in my opinion, Ireland should be the land of potatoes because, the whole Irish potato famine. We will not talk about that. Anyway, so, when they get to Ireland, Ireland was changed. Ireland seems to be back when, legends were told of Cuchulainn, aka Ireland's Child of Light. As they heard that the one that was governing this, alternative version of Ireland was Baum, also known as the Inferni Knight of Invidia, which apparently, after researching a little bit, apparently Invidia is actually the land word for envy. So, when they get there, they see two large sea monsters basically fighting in the ocean. One was a creature that resembles a gigantic ass, crustacean, with the mark of a man, while the other was a large serpent, with several tentacles and a large, gigantic ass mouth, fighting in the ocean of Ireland, as it has the marks of a woman. While they were fighting, um, had to, like, the helicopter basically, tipped over and causing them to fall down to the ocean, where they were captured by these weird looking creatures that resemble mermen as they brought them to the mainland. So, when they got to Ireland, they see that the place is actually not that bad. Apparently, most of the people there, even court users, were actually just having a little bit of fun, as they thought it was weird. As they see the, well, Knight of Nvidia, or well, the, like, actually, wait first. The guard or the Knight of Nvidia, of the Nvidia family, as he would say this. Alright, everybody, just be merry. Don't worry. I won't fight all of you. Besides, I'm not really all that fighting stuff. As everybody started, celebrating, as they started drinking to their heart's content. As Vernon would say this. Hey, you're supposed to be that bomb guy, right? As he would say this. Oh, nice to meet you. The name's Bomb, but as he take off his mask, showing off a pretty looking face, as he says this. The name's Michael Afton, but people just call me Michael for short. Trust me, I'm not really here to fight. And besides, I'm not really interested in fighting. Uh, I can't believe people still believe that I'm a fighter or something like that. As one of them would say this. Wait. You're not fighting? Says, Tetsu. As he would say this. Yeah, I'm not really interested. And besides, I prefer to let my, you know, friends do all the fighting for me. And besides, if I were to fight, it would be a bad idea. I'm tired of fighting. Let's just say that. As one of them would say this. Then why did you capture us? As he would say this. Capture? No, I didn't capture you. It's more like I just saved you from being destroyed by those krakens. As they would say this. Krakens? As he would say this. Yeah, or sea monsters if you prefer to call them. They're called Scylla and, I think it was Scylla and something. I can't remember. Either way, I'm still a bit drunk. Come on, maybe have a drink or something. As everybody, kinda celebrates, I guess. As for Vernon, she was a bit hesitant, but for Toga and, Pony, they basically started drinking. Because, first time drinking. Anyway, so, I'm really sorry about the background music. My cousins are currently living here now, because apparently, my cousin's father basically cheated on my aunt. Well, let's don't talk about that. Let's don't talk about that. Anyway, so after a while of drinking, he would say this. Alright everybody, let's have some fun. As they would see a large coliseum. Not really a coliseum, it's more like a gaming ring. As they see two robots. As he would say this. My father used to make these robots, but now I don't really, they don't really use that, that often anymore in my world. But either way, how would we try and have some fun with these things? As these robots started fighting, one resembles a gigantic ass bear, and the other resembles a purple bunny? And if you didn't realize, Michael Afton is actually Michael Afton from the video game, Five Nights at Freddy's. You're seeing a pattern here, right? Anyway, so, as everybody started, watching this, Vernon would see two people. One of them resembles another fishman, and the other seems to be this absurd creature or whatever he is. He's definitely not human at all. He seems to have one of his shoulders seems to have a growth on it. It looks like a canine a canine's head. It definitely looks disgusting, and it seems to be looking at her. His face seems to be filled with markings, as in in the middle of his chest, there seems to be a symbol that seems to be more Japanese inspired. He seems to be wearing a Japanese clothing as well. He also seems to have a large claw. He also wields a gigantic ass sword and, well, short sword. As he would say this, "Oi, are you trying to finish up some things, right?" As he would say this, "Right. We're ready." As he would say this, "Good." As he starts going towards, Michael. As Michael would say this to him, basically whispering, "Alright, let's do this." As everybody was told to go into a little, area. And so, when they did, it's mostly quirk users and also, Totoro, not Totoro, damn it, Pony, Tetsu, Aoyama, Tokuyami, Burnin, and Toga. And so, when they did go into this little area, they see the walls basically started to, enclose on themselves. As everybody just, starts screaming. As, well, um, Michael would say this. What a drag. As he would say this. Well, it's necessary after all. As he would say this. Yeesh, you're actually sounding a bit serious, my little squire. As he would say this. Either way, let's finish this up. I just want to get some rest. As he would say this. I thought you used to be carefree, but now you're just changed into this. As he would say this. Calling the kettle black, eh? As he says this. Whatever, let's go. I really need to get some another drink. As he would say this. I'll have a drink with you. Maybe a bowl of ramen as well. So, after they leave, everybody started using quirks to try and escape this place. As Burnin would start using her fire. As for, Tetsu, he starts using his hardening quirk to basically strengthen his, body, making him able to, stop the machine for a few minutes. As for Tokuyami, he starts finding an opening, or trying to find an opening, so they can escape. As when Tokuyami found a escape hatch, which is basically just a vent, Pony and Oyama basically alert everybody to it as everybody started escaping. So, when they did get out of that area, they see that, wait for a second, that they can see something in the vents. They see several dead bodies. Yes, dead bodies, corpses of all of these quirk users being stuffed into these animatronics. And these animatronics are moving. Yes. Michael's obviously going to do, what his father used to do, literally stuffing his, actual, victims into these, animatronics. But this time, instead of, dismantling them and just getting the remnant from there, instead, he keeps them there, turning them into literal meat puppets. Yes. As, some of these, fishermen would say this. The production is going well. As one of them would say this. Yeah. So, when we do get all of these things up and running, we will gladly try and take over the entire, European, countries. and maybe even take over the world. God dang it. Wait for a sec. As one of them would say this, yeah, we can finally take over this entire world. And maybe even take it over with our friends. Maybe even have a beer. As everybody just like seeing all of this, they started going out as they made it to a little shoreline. As when they made it to the little shoreline, they see Scylla and the Kraken basically still fighting as they see several soldiers. These soldiers resembling fishmen as they see, well, you know, Michael. As Michael would say this, "Oh, you actually escaped. Let's try and fix that." As his mask appears, as he would say this, "Now, Persona, Ra!" As this large, bird-like man with two snakes upon its, well, shoulders, as it wields a large sickle on one of his arms. It's bursting in flames. His entire body is literally made out of flames. As, well, wait for a second, sorry about that. As he would start cutting himself by using a box cutter that he keeps in his pocket. While he's cutting himself, blood would drip as he starts throwing the blood at the ground, as he would tell his persona to let her rip. As it shoots out fire, as the grass starts getting ignited, and where the blood just got splattered on, basically started making a huge fire, and that fire starts turning into, well, a purplish fire, as everybody starts like moving away as they see the squire of Michael, as he would say this, "This is gonna be fun. Now, take this, Rasengan." As he starts shooting out blasts of black looking orbs made out of condensed air, as everybody started exploding, guts were going everywhere, as everybody just starts escaping. As Pony and Tetetetsu were terrified, Tetetetsu starts convincing everybody that they should try and beat them. After all, they are heroes in training. As Brennan would say this, "Are you crazy? I mean, they're seriously overpowered and they're definitely not using quirks." As they hear something in the corner, they hear the sound of chains. As they see their dark versions of themselves. Pony, well, she definitely looks like a pony, but not that type of pony. She looks like a centaur if it still had like, well, the horse head. She basically looks like a Nicolavia, a, I think, Scottish monster. I think I can't remember, but apparently it looks like a centaur. But if a centaur was skinned and also still kept the, well, horse head, and also said to also bring disaster. Next, we have, well, Tetetetsu. Tetetetsu resembles, well, it looks like a normal version of Tetsutetsu, but forever encased in iron. He seems to he seems to be wearing an iron mask and wielding two chains, and these chains are attached to large maces. As for Aoyama, Aoyama seems to be a man coated in diamonds, not only able to shoot out lasers from his navel cavity, he's able to shoot out lasers from anywhere that the crystals are. And finally, for Tokuyami, well, he's literally the darkness that's surrounding, well, Ireland right now. He's basically everywhere and nowhere. So, yeah. As everybody starts escaping, as the dark Tetsu starts wielding his blades, not really blades, more like maces, as he smashed them into the ground, causing them to fly away. As for Pony, she starts jumping around, galloping with her horse bottom half, and starts grabbing each and every one of them. As for Tokuyami would sense, well, Toga trying to escape, rather from the darkness. As for Burnin, well, wait for a second. Aoyama would create a blast of fire, as he would say this, because he's the only one that seems to be able to talk. As he would say this, there's no use in escaping. You'll just be like the rest of us, turned into these monsters. As everybody was terrified, seeing, well, their, well, corrupted versions, as they were brought back towards, well, the little cabin or little, like, facility, as they see Michael. As Michael would say this, seriously, I was giving you some hospitality and then you decide to shit it on my face? Seriously, I was trying to be nice. But apparently, you're just a little bit ungrateful. As one of them would say this, ungrateful? You were trying to kill all of us. As he would say this, hey, shut up. At least I'm not the one that got into a freaking war and basically died over and over and over again, turning into this. As everybody would hear this, as they would say this. God, I didn't I literally said just the word this many times. If you're old enough, make a drinking game out of this. Even though I'm not old enough to drink, maybe some of you can drink. Maybe you can, like, do a drinking game with that, I guess. Anyway, wait for a second. As he would say this. Okay, before you can die, I guess I can tell you my story or whatever. And so, he tells his story. Back in the day, well, Michael was actually a normal boy until he saw his brother. His brother was so pathetic, scared, even terrified, and so he bullied them, including with the rest of his friends. And then one day, during a little incident, which we call the Bite of 83 and not the Bite of 87, you damn Bolivians. I'm not gonna trigger in the comments, by the way. It's just facts. It's not called the Bite of 87, it's the Bite of 83. So, when the Bite of 83 happened, well, he was punished. He felt angry at himself for killing his brother. He felt angry and envious. The envy that he had back then for his brother getting everything, well, he got nothing. Well, he became empty. And then, it was the time of the Great War, or specifically, the Vietnam War. And back then, in their world, quirks started manifesting back in, well, the times of back in the times of the Vietnam War, basically. So, when that happened, well, he was captured by some enemy soldiers from Vietnam and was injected multiple doses of, well, napalm. And when he did die from all of the poisoning, well, Lavenza appeared, and giving him a choice. And so, he was revived, turning into this. And so, after destroying, well, the entire, camp, and literally torturing each and every one of them by shoving his entire, arm and spraying out all of his blood, his napalm, covered blood, and basically bursting them into flames with his persona. Well, that was the end of that. He never came back to his world. Because he never believed in that world anyway. So, after everybody started crying, as one of them would say this, being Pony, But why are you doing this? As he would say this. I'm trying to do. Well, actually, I don't even know why I do this. I guess it's just loyalty or whatever. But either way, you're just gonna die here. I don't, well, have any hatred for you people. Especially for you quirk users. I'm just doing my job. Nothing else. As one of them would strike a punch, being Tetsu Tetsu. As after Tetsu Tetsu says a lot of insults, in fact, he says this. Alright, you try and punch me. Very well. Maybe we can have a fight. Just you and me. Mano a mano. As he challenges Tetsu Tetsu to a fight. So, as everybody was brought to a large stadium, they see Tetsu Tetsu there. As they see, well, Michael riding on his signature motorcycle. As everybody just hears a loud, like, boombox blaring, "Let's get ready to rumble!" As everybody was excited, some of them even getting popcorn, in fact. As for Tokiyami, Tokiyami is fighting, well, the Fox Lord, he prefers to call himself, as apparently his real name is Naruto Uzumaki. And if you didn't realize with all of the, well, hints that have been hiding up until now, well, that is Naruto. And wondering what happened to Naruto and what happened to him and turning him to this, well, let's just say things happen. Just imagine, like, any type of fanfic about, like, Naruto becoming angry and deciding to become evil. Basically, imagine that, but terrifying. He basically killed everybody, including Hinata, and also the entire Akatsuki. So, yeah, he basically became a legend in that world. Basically destroying the entire Leaf Village with just a swipe of his gigantic ass claw. So, the fight begins. As, well, Michael starts using his persona as he starts spraying blood across the battlefield. As for Tokiyami, Tokiyami starts covering himself in shadow as he starts fighting, well, Naruto. As Naruto would say this, "Why, you annoying." As he says this, "Fire pinwheel." As he starts creating a pinwheel made out of fire. Pretty simple name, eh? As he starts using, well, two swords. One is the short sword and one is the gigantic ass, well, bleach type sword. As they started fighting again, as Tokiyami learned this brand new technique, where he basically starts creating shadow weapons from dark shadow, basically creating a shadow blade of some sort. As for Tetsu Tetsu, he starts getting ready to punch, well, Michael. As Michael would start creating a blood like substance. As this blood like substance starts solidifying, turning into a claw. As he says this, "What do you think of this? I actually learned this from my, principal of my school there in hell. His name is, well, let's just say he's quite interesting. In fact, he was one of the original, Phantom Thieves, which are our ancestors, let's just say that. Our predecessors. Now, either way, take this. Persona! Raw! Burn them alive!" As it starts shooting out fire from everywhere across the entire arena. As everybody was starting to dodge all of the attacks, well, let's just say something happens. As some of the robots would basically come around and basically start capturing, well, all of them, being Pony, Tetsu, Aoyama, Tokuyami, Burnen, and Toga, as they were brought towards the, to the arena, as he would say this: "Sorry for cheating, but sorry. It's just my loyalties. Either way, you're gonna die here. So, any last words before you die?" As he would say this, being Tetsu, "Gotcha." As the robots would start malfunctioning, thanks to the help of, you know, now take it away, please. Ding, 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 ding. It's actually the help of Melissa Shield, as she hacked into the robots, systems, and basically started breaking them down, making a special virus which she calls Springtrap. Eh? So, after that happened, he would say this, being, Michael: "What the hell? Who did this?" As he starts becoming a little bit angry, which everybody was starting to get scared because they'd never seen him angry before, as he would say this: "I never been angrier than anything else ever before. But I guess I can have a bit of fun." As his eyes start glowing a pure golden color, as he starts scrambling, like his body starts twitching, as his body starts becoming encased in this almost soldier-like armor. Imagine this. His armor starts resembling, Warhammer 40k armor. Specifically, the Imperium of Man, aka just the cannon fodder. So, just imagine him wearing that, but with the symbols of hell, heaven, and also, the monster realm. As he basically looks like that. As he would say this: "God, I've never been this angry before. Now, let's have some fun. Come forth, Cain!" As Cain would appear, as his original persona, Ra, would change. Now Cain resembles, a mishmash of, several military weapons. As for the more humanoid part, it resembles the old soldier, but one of the arms resembles a gigantic ass blade, and the other looks like a freaking flamethrower. As for the face, it resembles a gas mask. Yeah, it also has flaming hair, because why the hell not? It also has a cannon for a shoulder. Specifically a tank gun. Yeah. Yeah, that's terrifying. As it starts shooting out blasts of pure, fire and energy everywhere. As he would start grabbing his arms and ripping the gauntlets off, as he starts biting on both of his arms, as blood would start pooling over. As when Cain starts using the fire on the blood, let's just say things become even more concerning. The place was set on fire, as the entire place was turned into nothing more than, soot and ash. As everybody started escaping, wait for a second. As everybody started escaping, mostly just, the team, they see the helicopter, as they see a ladder basically, well, you know, lowering, as everybody started grabbing onto the ladder, as they started escaping, as they moved away from, Ireland, as they see, well, in the fire and smoke, an angry and absolutely hate-filled, Michael, as he screams out, "When I find you, I will make you pay. I will make your life a living hell." As he starts yelling at the sky, as a portal will appear. Would appear, I meant. Wait for a second. As a portal appears, as the helicopter was gone at that point, as he would say this, who is it? As he would see Lavenza, as Lavenza would say this, another failure. As he would say this, sorry, boss. As she would say this, don't worry. Besides, maybe my most dangerous and most elite can probably do this. Unlike you. As he would say this, whatever. As he starts grabbing a bottle of whiskey from the ground and starts chugging it. As for his, royal guards, they start going into the portal and disappear. As for, Naruto also gone into the portal. As Lavenza would say this, I hope they're ready because they're going to be messing with the most dangerous of all the Fernie Knights. As he would say this, yeah. They're definitely not gonna get ready for, sex. As she would say this, yeah, sex is quite crazy, to say the least. And besides, why won't you just say her real name? As he would say this, no thanks. Besides, just saying her real name just pisses me off. And besides, I can't even read Korean. As she would say this, as a dumbass, as always a dumbass. As he would say this, what? As she would say this, either way, see ya. As he would say this, see ya. As he stays in Ireland, letting the monsters fight out, as he starts chugging another bottle of whiskey. And so, this is going to be the end of this episode. Seriously, I'm seriously thinking that these episodes are going longer than my regular episodes, so be happy. Either way, so I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.